So now that we've gone through and looked a little bit at the history of ebooks and what the basic ebook components are, we'll conclude our introduction to ebook by kind of comparing ebooks to printed books. And we'll start by looking at this definition that we got from PC Magazine that defined what was an ebook. And it used an interesting word. It called an ebook the electronic counterpart of a printed book, noting that numerous ebooks can be kept on your e-reader device, and it's far more capable in terms of bookmarks and page annotations. So as we here at Oasis, who have now delivered a number of final programs, abstract books, and exhibit guides in ebook format, have come to believe, we believe that the ebook really is a counterpart. It definitely is not a duplicate of the printed document, and we'd like to talk a little bit about how. So if you look at this particular printed book, we just took a scan from a printed abstract book, you'll note that there are some standard things that we take for granted. Page numbers, for example, top or bottom of the page. We've got often tabs on the side of the page. These tabs could mark the day, or sometimes they're used to mark a session type. And then, of course, for those of you that can see this on a small screen, this is showing the times, but it's showing the times without respect to the day. It assumes that when you're looking at the times here on this printed page, you also see the tab that's on your right-hand side, or maybe see the page that's at the top. Well, in an ebook, you don't have the concept of having the same sort of format that you do in a printed book. A printed book, to some degree, is like hieroglyphics in that you chisel it, not so much in stone, but you chisel it into paper when you compose the page, and that's the way it will remain for all time. An ebook is a file, and the format of the ebook is actually controlled more by the ebook reader itself. So here is are two shots from a Kindle, and they are two shots of the same abstract, one at a font size that's smaller, and one at a font size that's about 4 times the size. Most e-readers let you change the font size to adapt to different visual acuities. Not something you can easily do with a paper printed book, obviously. But as you do so, you lose the concept of a page. Just imagine if you took an abstract book and you raised the font size 400%, you'd need 400% more pages, and the page numbers would all change. So what the ebook readers use is, instead of a page number, they use a location. And location is something that ebook users very quickly get used to. And the location doesn't really change no matter what the font size is. So that's a little bit different. But you also don't have these tabs or page guidelines, navigational guidelines at the top or at the side. So when you create an ebook, you create it slightly differently. Now, this would look silly in a printed book, but in ebooks, for example, we'll repeat the day and the time and the location and the session type with each abstract, because if you didn't, you might be able to search or navigate to a particular abstract and not have any idea when it was or where it was. So you do have to take slightly different approaches to than you do with the printed book. Now, there are many parts of ebooks that are far, in our opinion, far more excellent than the printed book. Not the least of which is search. In a printed book, we're going back and building indices to find authors or keywords, and you're limited to basically what you can build an index for to find a page number to look something up. In an ebook, you have the capability, this shown from an Apple iPhone search. You just type in a keyword, and that keyword could be an author, it could be a keyword, it could be a session name, and it will bring you to all instances of that keyword, and then let you drill directly into it. Sorry, let me get to my next page. Likewise, you could put infinite number of bookmarks and annotations into an ebook, and those bookmarks and annotations will stay with you. This is an example of highlighting a session and then typing in using the keyboard on the e-reader an annotation that you'd like. And then these annotations are better than scribbled marks on a piece of paper. They'll stay with you. You can copy them back over to your laptop and email them to your colleagues and friends if you'd like to, as you go beyond. Now, the very cool thing about the Apple iPad that's coming out is that it embeds full motion video actually in the document itself, which we think will soon allow us to do something like Harry Potter was able to do with the Daily Prophet, where they'll actually have newspapers that'll talk to you, and that'll really wake you up in the morning. All right. So now what we've done is we've gone through an introduction to ebooks, and hopefully everybody will understand the learning objectives that we had about what an ebook is and how an ebook differs from a printed book. So now what we're going to do is go take a look at the ebook marketplace and try to understand where it is today and where we're going tomorrow. I think this picture, for those of you who follow the news, will probably sound a little bit familiar. It's the image of the apple falling on top of Amazon to crush it with Sony off to the side. This is, I think, what the popular press would like us to believe, although how accurate it's going to be still remains to be seen. The data we do have sort of looks like this. Investors Business Daily, which is a fairly authoritative source that we could find, indicates that they believe that Kindle has 68% of the market share, Sony following at about 10% of the market share. And the interesting thing is that Amazon is claiming right now that they're selling 6 Kindle ebooks for every 10 printed books. That's really fascinating if you think about it, because Amazon sold more than $6 billion worth of books in 2009. So the idea that they could now be going forward selling 6 Kindle books for every 10 printed books means that it's a huge, huge market. Now, our own data from associations that have had printed programs, ebook abstract books, and ebook exhibitor guides indicate that Kindle is a 10-to-1 favorite over Sony. Now, most of our associations that have used this so far are STM associations, so it's possible that that just happens to be the preference for STM marketplace. But iPad could be a game changer. We also looked at some research that indicated that iPad, for those that wanted to buy e-readers in the next 3 months, was 40% of the people wanted to buy iPads compared to 28% for the Kindle. So, and we do see, even in our own statistics, that the iPhone ebook download is larger than all of the e-readers combined. So it's still quite a large one as well. The STM marketplace is certainly moving towards the ebook world, while only 10% in a recent Association of Learning and Professional Society publishers indicated just about 10% of the sales were attributed to ebook. Out of the 400 participants in the survey, 63% were starting to publish something in ebook format one way or another. And again, from our own data, about 20% of our almost 200 meetings a year are now producing ebooks or planning to in this year 2010, with more planning to do so next year. The market definitely is not